Hey guys, welcome to the Nick Bahe YouTube page. You know what you need to do. You need to subscribe, you need to ring the bell, you need to like the page, you need to leave a comment. I appreciate you. All right, here we go. He's here, I'm here. I'm Nick, he's Bo. We might as well be I'm Bo, you're Nick. It's all the same. We've morphed into one brain.
It's not, there's nothing divided. This is unified.
Do we need to find a way to this is almost like the first take debate desk. Do we need to find some stuff? I don't know what we'd find today that we're going to really argue or disagree about. We'll find something though. Yeah, we'll find something.
Once in a while we do.
Here's the one thing you will absolutely agree on is shouts out to Onyx Automotive for sponsoring the game recap pod. They're the best of Omaha, #1 luxury car dealer, industry leading brands, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, awesome location, 150th and Dodge. Check them out. Go online, onyxautomotive.com. They got tons of good stuff there. Drive Onyx, the new standard. Shouts out to Onyx Automotive for sponsoring the game recap pod, and shouts out to Shoot 360 Lincoln. We're off and rolling, baby. We are a little over 2 weeks old, and the world's most advanced basketball training facility is just making Lincoln basketball better, one member at a time. We specialize in shooting, passing, ball handling. I was there last night until midnight for reasons we won't discuss, but I was shooting. I got 200 threes up at midnight last night.
The game's probably coming back.
I'm not going to lie. All of a sudden I found it last night. Yeah. I was straight wetting that thing. And you get on the splash meter. It's fantastic. But it's NBA level technology, can be used by all players of all ages. 3rd, 4th grade rookies, college level pros, even washed up, almost 40-year-old has-beens can go in there.
I hear the kids really like the leaderboards. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can see. So there's different competitions, and every time you log in, it gives you like the leaderboard. It's almost like, remember, was it George Costanza had the #1 Frogger?
Yeah, if you're in the old arcade games, that was the big thing. It's like some people spent their life. Could I get to #1 in the arcade game?
Yes, and that's what it's literally like. It's a video game meets basketball training morphed into one. Yeah. And these kids, you remember Austin Bahe, his kids, they're on top of the leaderboard right now. So people need to come after the Bahe boys at Shoot 360. But if you are interested, go to shoot360.com/Lincoln. Schedule your official recruiting visit. It's a 1-hour workout. You are going to love it. All right, Bo. Nebraska wins. What was it? It was 31-14, right? That was the final.
Yes.
31-14. Let's start with this before we get into. I have an analogy that is just going to ring very true for you, given where you're at in your life. But Nebraska is now won. Say it with me. 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
We have been waiting for this. Like, can Nebraska, even in the offseason, we talk about the schedule. Like, maybe this is the stretch where they can get 3 in a row.
It's been 3 years of that talk.
Yes.
That we couldn't do it.
Think about that. Something 3 in a row is not crazy.
No, that's not crazy. That's how bad it's been.
That's how bad it's been. And you're like, Nebraska did it. They did it. It was like Adrian fighting Drago, right? It was like, you're going to do it.
He's going to do it.
He's going to do it. That's what it felt like yesterday, where you're going to get 3 in a row. Nebraska went undefeated in the month of October for the first time since I think I saw it's 2001.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Nebraska is now 5-1 in their last 5 games, which is 5-1 in their last 6 games. They're firmly in position to potentially win the West. I want to start with we got to soak this up. Okay. Winning is fun.
Yes. Winning is this. I think people are shocked almost right now that we've won. We don't even know what that's like anymore.
Because I thought Chattel again nailed it today with his column, but there's just a lot about this team that doesn't make sense. There's a lot about what's happening every Saturday that you're like, how are they winning? How did they win that game? What happened there?
It almost doesn't make sense, because I think we've seen a lot of football over the last few years where we go, that sort of looked like winning football for most of it, couldn't get the win. And then sometimes this team, you see a lot of there's a lot of not winning football being played, and then we get the win.
That's what's exactly. I wrote that down later, but you lead me into it. If we're being honest for a second, this team commits a lot of the same sins that these past Nebraska teams have committed for 5, 6, 7 years that ended up going 4-8, 3-9, 5-7. And yet they are finding a way to end up on the right side of the score column. And it's interesting. So it's not like don't you think it's not like outside of the defense, where the defense is playing at a level, especially the last 3 games, that is really, really special. But I think one of the things that's hard is like Nebraska's on the brink of getting to a bowl. They've won 3 in a row. We just listed out all that stuff. And yet in some ways you watch it and it doesn't necessarily feel like dramatically different than it's
I don't know that we're better than 21. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just say who's better, this team or the 21 team that won
3-9.
3-9.
Best 3-9 team of all time.
Right. So this is where I'm a little stuck. I do think the defense
is balling.
They're balling. Let's just be real. Like, they are balling sans Michigan. So is this a case of this team is just finding they're just making maybe certain plays throughout the game that are difference makers that are sort of like that team in 21, let's say as the comparison, couldn't make, or is this just a case of like the Big Ten West is truly that much worse than it was 2 years ago, and the Big Ten's that much worse than it was 2 years ago? Like, that's what I don't know yet. But all I know is we won 3 games, and I think people would be going ballistic. They'd be so excited if we haven't been sort of kind of as bad while winning as we have for these last 3 games. I mean, it actually, we almost had a game where like Nebraska, we were riding high, and then about 9 minutes to go in that game, we flipped a switch. And so everybody left, I think, feeling almost down on the day.
Yeah,
I know I was in the basement, like, ooh, I was going to a bad place.
Isn't it weird? You're so right. When it got to halftime and then to even 24-0, I was really kind of riding high.
Yeah.
But then when the game ended, I felt a little like, ugh.
It was an ugly stretch there.
It was bad for, I mean, there were portions of it that were bad in general, but then the way that game ended, I always use this, and it's like a date where it started great, and then you went in for the kiss, and you burped, and she went ew, and and so it was one of those. It went really well, then it just the final 8 minutes kind of left you like going, uh-oh. I don't.
It wasn't like, oh, we just had a couple bad plays. It was like, it was almost one of the worst meltdowns in college football history.
Yes.
That I've ever seen in my life. And we had enough of a lead, and they I'll give them credit. They put together that little last drive.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunate. I think they got a penalty that was good, but
yeah, it
was almost
really we're bad. All over the place on my like itinerary here. No, this is good, but I'll just throw this out there. When it was 24-0, I looked it up. When it was 24-0 with about 10 and a half, 11 minutes left, and Nebraska had the ball. Nebraska had a 99.9% winning probability.
Yep.
And there was a version of how that game unfolded where they fucked around and lost a game where they had a 99%.
Yeah.
99.9%.
Yeah.
But so we'll get to all that. But to circle back to something that I want to go to my fun analogy I have for you. Again, me and you have morphed into like the same brain. When we were talking about this, like what we can't figure out, we're just using that 21 team as an example. It's like, okay, is it either that this defense is so special right now, or is it that the caliber opponents outside of Michigan have just been truly abysmal? Yeah. Like, they have played from Minnesota to Colorado, as Colorado's coming crashing down to earth, to La Tech, to NIU, to Illinois, to Northwestern. I get it. Northwestern went out and beat Maryland, but nevertheless, we saw with it. Like, these teams are terrible.
For the Big Ten, at least, they're terrible.
And so here's the thing is, I feel like we can do this thing where we can I can say that, and at the same time, not necessarily try to take away from what Nebraska's accomplishing.
Yeah.
Because like, I am very excited about what's going on. There's tons of great things that are going on, especially in that defensive end. But it's like,
we're trying to,
it's just trying to get you. It's such a weird state of affairs. Because if you would have told me, hey, they're going to be 5-3 or whatever. They're 5-3. They're in the position to potentially win the West. They've won 3 in a row. I'd be like, oh my God, is everybody just feeling good? You're like, well, I mean, there's moments where it looks.
It's because we still have to watch it with our eyes and be like, this is what I see.
Right.
And we actually aren't seeing we're seeing it on the defense. The offense we're seeing is an offense that shouldn't win more games than we won in 2021,
right,
or 2020, or 2019, or
2018,
right?
Yeah.
Like that's the offense we're seeing. But I guess you got to give it to the defense, and
well, here
the schedule is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's where I feel like I can say, because I can bet there's some diehard, Craig from Kearney, Josh from Scottsbluff. They're probably like, oh, come on, man. I'm giving credit. And it's like, I'm not trying to like diminish what they're doing, but I also can like look and see like these teams the Big Ten West is a mess,
Yeah.
but they're winning, right?
But I think that's part of what's going to be fun is that we're relevant all of a sudden.
Yes. Like this is the calendar. It's Sunday, October 29th. November is going to turn, and Nebraska is in the thick of potentially going to Indianapolis. Like that is not oh my God, you hear these Husker Pod guys talking about Nebraska going to Indiana. No. I mean, think if AG doesn't fumble,
we would have beat Minnesota.
Nebraska is in the driver's seat right now. So here's my analogy, because this is going to be perfect for the state of you're at in your life and me as well. But what you're seeing is every game is kind of becoming the same thing right now. Like that game kind of mirrored Northwestern, and it kind of mirrored Illinois. Here's my analogy. As parents, the offense right now is a baby. Okay.
I like where this is going.
The defense is the parent, is mom and dad.
Yeah.
The offense has a lot of moments throughout the day where they're throwing up, they're pooping their pants, they're peeing everywhere, they spill their drink, they throw their food on the ground, they take all their toys, they dump them out. The offense is having moments where all of that is happening. And the defense is the parent, where they have to come in and just clean it all up.
Yeah.
And although it's frustrating and it wears you out as a parent, you now have 2 kids, one of which was born 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks old. I got 3 kids. Although it's frustrating, it wears you out. You do it because you love your baby, and also like somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
But even in the midst of the poop-filled, snot-filled, peeing everywhere, tornado of a baby running around, they'll do something a few times a day that light you up inside and make it totally worth it.
Yes.
And that is Nebraska football in a nutshell right now. The defense is the parent. The defense is mom and dad. The offense is the baby. The defense spends the entire day cleaning up after the offense as it just creates massive mess after massive mess after massive mess. But much like that baby, the offense has a few moments every game where they do something great and it keeps everyone rolling along.
Yeah. All they have to do is not have the worst day ever where they give you nothing. Just give us something.
Just give me one comment.
Give us an hour of being a good kid.
Yes.
Be funny a couple times.
Right.
And then when you have your meltdown, you drop your toys and you spill, we'll do it, and we won't even say anything about it. We'll just keep our composure and do it again.
I will get poop on me, throw up on me, snot on me. I will. If you just give me that one moment where you went and found daddy's shoes and you come walking in with shoes on, or you put something that you're like that just that only as you're literally cleaning up a mess where your kid will come over and like say something to you and you're like, oh God,
they're funny. I mean, let's be real, they're funny.
They're hilarious, but that is Nebraska football right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy, just in the sense too of like this offense is in the infancy stage of like figuring out how to do anything.
And they do, and that's why I wanted to make a point of like they will have moments. Option pass Malachi Coleman, option pass Jaden Doss, 15-play drive where they'll give you moments where you're like, oh yeah. But then they give you a bunch of moments where you're like, oh my God, I just put a new diaper and they're over there shitting again. Oh my God. Or they wake up at 2 a.m. and you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be up.
Their
timing's never, like those kinds of things. But that is what it is like. The defense is the parent cleaning up after this baby of an offense right now.
Well, I think that's, that is the state of Husker fandom right now. Is we've gotten our 3 wins in a row, which we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And now I'd say the next level is this offense has to show us that this isn't just like only a outcome of the Big Ten West being terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like we need them to show us that like we can win a game against somebody by playing a complete game. And then I think then you'll see the fans. I don't think they're ready to come roaring back to excitement because of what they're seeing with their eyes.
Right. Yeah. I agree. Here, let's go through some of the baby knocked over their juice, the baby pooped their pants, the baby threw up. So here there were some big swings in this game.
Yeah.
So how about the start of the game? Opening kickoff. Here we go. Nebraska Purdue. Let's rock and roll. Snodgrass returns it. Snodgrass more like fumble on the grass.
Yeah. Snodgrass.
Snodgrass more like fumble on the grass. Fumbles the opening kickoff. Like exactly like the Northwestern game where you threw a pick on the first play of the game. Purdue gets the ball to 33. Here comes mom and dad. It's okay. I got it. Shoves them back. No points.
Yep.
Then towards the end of the first quarter, this is the turning point of the game. This sequence. You have the muff punt catch from Alex Bullock. How Purdue didn't recover that ball, there needs to be a 30 for 30. There was like 4 players that jumped on the ball for Purdue.
Yeah.
Somehow the ball squirts through one area, could have squirted out, and goes right back to where Nebraska could get it. Like, it is truly astonishing how Purdue didn't recover that ball. And these are those moments where you talk about like what's different about like, and I don't want, I mean, people are probably like, guys, give the 2021 Huskers or Frost era a rest. These are the moments where there is with certainty, Nebraska does not recover that fumble if it's Frost. And maybe it's a thing where you make your own luck and you whatever, but like somehow that ball gets back in Nebraska's hands. So instead of Purdue having the ball at the 13-yard line, Nebraska has the ball. And this is where Nebraska has what I thought was their best drive of the year.
Yeah.
15-play, 87-yard touchdown drive. They score. That's a 10 to 14 point swing right there where Purdue is either going to kick a field goal, score a touchdown, and instead Nebraska goes and scores a touchdown. The other swing, Harburg's fumble in the first drive of the third quarter. Again, he is the best, worst athlete. Like that run, he's
going into contact.
And like when he has to cut, like
he doesn't cut well, or he doesn't go into contact well.
No. Well, I'm amazed for a guy that again is like a good athlete. His ability, it's like he has to come to a complete stop, turn, and then like what is that?
Nick, I don't know. It's some sort of like it's not his wheelhouse. He's not comfortable making cuts, and it just, I don't know, like you can see it, like we've seen him for however many games now, like he can run in a straight line really well. If he has to make a cut, he go lateral, or like he just doesn't see it, and he doesn't.
He can't. He has to come to complete stop. He can't keep moving north and south and move east and west.
And we might have to talk about, I don't want to slow you down, but like at some point we need to talk about our option game with him.
Yes.
But keep going.
Let's shelve that. Yeah. So let me just keep going this way. So fumble third started. So I mean, there was an option. He had to come to complete stop, turn, and then go into 2 guys, and the guy just rips the ball out of his hands. Purdue recovers the ball at the 14-yard line. Here comes mom and dad. I got it. Again, Nebraska forces a 3-and-out. Jamari Butler sacks Hudson Card on 3rd down. Then here comes Purdue for a field goal, blocked field goal. Quentin Newsom catches it. Tommy Hill and him are high-fiving as he runs in for a touchdown. Another 10 to 14 point swing there.
Unbelievable.
So these are these moments where it's like we watch these things happen and you're going like, there's a world where it's 14 points there because of the muff punt and the Harburg fumble, but instead it's 7 points the other way because of a blocked field goal. It's just
and we needed, and this is what it became very obvious that by the end of the game was we needed a lead. We needed lots of cushion.
Yes,
because we just don't know when our meltdowns are coming. And I think towards the end of the game, we show we're very capable of these meltdowns. So if it's a 7-point lead, Nick, we lose.
Yeah.
We needed 24 points of cushion.
You couldn't be more right. At one point I wrote down, thank God for the block field goal touchdown and the Tristan Alvano 55-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Nebraska was going to lose that game.
Yes. Yep. Because once I think that sort of momentum shifts happen and it's tied, it's all she wrote for us.
You're right, though, because at some point you better have a cushion, just like at Illinois, just against Northwestern, because at some point the melting's going to unfold. Real quick, I do want to talk about, so I just wanted to go through those sequences where it's like there's a version of this thing where like, wow, like there were two tails here and somehow Nebraska went on like the best case scenario each time.
Yeah.
That 15-play, 87-yard touchdown drive, though, man, these are those moments. In walked little Bell, in walked little Mac or Marvin, and like gave us a smile, gave us something, and just lit us up. Where Nebraska converted, I thought it was the best. I thought it might have been Harburg's best drive. I thought it might have been Marcus Satterfield's best drive. They converted 4 third downs. They had a 3rd and 3 on a crosser to Fleeks, a 3rd and 9, a little comeback route to Jaden Doss. Where did you see Emmett Johnson? Give me 2 sneezes. Was it 2?
Ooh, I think just 1. There's one lingering. He's when somebody opens the door and they're not quite left, and I'm like, you should just go. Just get out of the house. Just get out of the house, okay? Time to go. I think he's out.
Okay, talk about a quick story about you and you were like,
what do you got on me?
When you were, God, I think you were like 15 or 16. No, you might have been older than that. We heard that old wives' tale that you can't sneeze with your eyes open.
Oh,
you remember that in
yeah.
Sam Gibbons' driveway?
Yeah.
We were all like, but you were like, here we go, I'm going to do it. So we watch Bo. He's going to sneeze with his eyes open. And you do it, and your shoulder.
I dislocated, I think. I swear. I think it dislocated for a bit. Unbelievable. Don't try it at home, folks. Just close your eyes and sneeze.
I can picture, like, this is so stupid. Like, I was like, all right, here we go. Bo's going to sneeze with his eyes open. I'm picturing you, and you were in pain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so kids out there, don't try that. Don't try that at home.
Might slip a shoulder.
Oh, God. Okay, so so 3rd and 9 comeback route to Doss. But did you see that blitz pickup by Emmett Johnson?
No,
do you remember that? Oh, it was awesome. Like, he stuck his nose in there and just lit a dude up. 3rd and 5, Ty Hahn, quick little sprint out was a great call. 3rd and 6, hands off my high knee, scrambled for it, and then the touchdown to Canton, Ohio was a great call.
Yeah, thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you for everything you've done.
Going to
yes,
do for us.
I mean, there's nothing better than when I'm watching the game and like things happen, and I get tweets from people like, I just got when Fedoni scored, the amount of like, I just got tweets from people that simply said Canton.
That's all it is. That's all you need to know.
All it is Canton, Ohio. But that drive, I thought it was Satterfield's best drive. It just was. That's 15 plays.
We got to give Satterfield. I think what he does well is he'll put together some moments, and I think he calls good shots. Like he dials up good, like attacking deep shots.
Right.
Those have been, to me, have been his best plays. And I actually have liked a few of his short yardage, got to have it throws, especially in the goal line. We've been pretty good when we've gotten in the red zone.
Like, get close down in there. Yeah.
The last like 5 or 6 weeks, like we've gotten our touchdowns when we've gotten down there, which is good to see.
I agree. So because this is when you really were falling in love with the team, because it was like, so you have that 15-play, 87-yard touchdown drive. The next possession for Purdue, Tommy Hill gets the interception.
Yeah.
And nobody runs east and west off of like interceptions or different fumble recoveries than Tommy Hill.
I keep thinking he's going to be Dion, and every time he tries to Dion, it just doesn't Dion. But Tommy Hill is growing on me because
I have always had a soft spot.
You've got the soft spot for him. I've always been very hard on Tommy. He is now making plays on defense.
Yes.
So therefore, he is now entering my like realm of like, Tommy, you're proving to me that I can trust you.
Right.
He still makes me laugh when he tries to go Dion, and it just he doesn't have it in the legs. I thought he was supposed to be the fastest guy in our team.
So did I. I was excited when he picked off this one. I thought like, he might house this thing.
I know because we're giving him Dion credit.
Because he's like supposed to be like you said, the fastest guy on the team. He's a kickoff returner.
But he never looks like he's got the juice.
No, but you had an ability to like when you got your hands on the ball, you had it. Like you could go score. I was expecting like that, and it's a lot of because remember he picked up that fumble against Illinois, I think, and he just ran like straight to the sideline and then hit him with like, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Oh my
Joaquin
God.
Phoenix.
Tommy Hill. Thumbs up, Tommy.
We need to do that. After anything Tommy Hill does, just put Russell Crowe, Gladiator, are you not entertained? And then the whole Memorial Stadium has to just put their thumb up. We are entertained.
We'll give
Tommy
thumbs
Hill.
up for that.
Tommy Hill had a great game. He had, two interceptions, and then he returned he caught a punt where he was not the punt returner.
I know that was another one where you go, Tommy. Like,
are you not entertained though?
You're not. I mean,
he was like the gunner. And he just turned and just caught it.
That's not easy. Like I thought at first I was like, so was he the up returner? Then I watched the replay. I was like, no. He just decided to go catch it.
What was that play?
Alex Bullock though needs to catch the punt.
That was one of the things I wrote down. Is he afraid of catching punts now? I think he's afraid of it now.
Like there's a bunch of long punts in this game.
And he would just be
he would just let them all hit and roll. I'm like, those aren't short punts. Those are long punts you're not catching. He cost us a lot of field position. And he muffed one. So
he muffed one. So no, I think he was good until he muffed it. Now he's got
don't you lose your position now if you're that guy?
I think it's an open competition. I would think they I mean he's scared to catch the punt.
If you're not electric and if you're not catching the punts and you've muffed one, I don't know. To me, it's sort of like
you fired.
You're fired.
Santino Panico. I mean, you need Santino. I mean, at least Santino is he's gonna catch that thing.
He tell you what,
Okay,
he set other records.
Tommy Hill, what a game! 2 picks. Like I feel like that would be a great that highlight would be great for like a special teams coaching like convention where it's a bunch of special team coaches. You'd be like, I had a guy in Nebraska. He's the gunner. He catches it. People are like, oh my God! But he had 2 picks. But okay, no, this sequence. So he had the 15 play, 87-yard touchdown drive. Tommy Hill picks it, tries to go Dion, doesn't quite work out. And then Nebraska comes on, dials up the option pass, Jalen Lloyd touchdown.
Yeah.
And at that point, everybody is feeling it.
Yeah.
It's 14-0. Everybody's feeling fantastic. So that sequence was pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Well, okay. Do we want to talk about the defense or do we want to get to the end of the game where all of a sudden, Billy Madison turned and said, you ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
Yeah. If peeing your pants was cool, then I'm Miles Davis.
Everybody pees the pants.
Hey, man.
Yeah, they high-five and get on the bus, and they're all peeing their pants. Cool. That's where all of a sudden Harburg and Satterfield peed their pants. Do you want to get to that, or do you want to talk about the defense quick?
Let's say something positive before we go. Let's start with the defense.
Well, here's the thing about the defense. I wrote down defense, and the first thing I wrote down was like, I'm running out of things to say about them. Like,
do we believe it? I still like. There's a part of me that's like, this seems like too good to be true. So almost like they were under 100 yards rushing, 100 yards,
yes,
passing, and we were in these bad backed up positions, and we weren't just stopping them. We were moving them back out of field goal range. It was actually amazing.
I do believe it. I believe it. I'm buying into it. I think there's a true sense of belief with them. Like you can feel they have like an aura to them to me right now where it's like a belief amongst them. And whether it's they are hitting. I mean, Reimer had a great play on a 4th down.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it MJ?
Omar Brown had a good
yes.
play up on the edge on a bubble.
There was a swing. Was it Princewell? Princewell had a great play on a tackle. Swing and lit a guy up. It is like I'm not sure I've seen a side of the ball. This feels like hyperbole, but I'm not sure I've seen a side of the ball at Nebraska get coached up and maximized considering their overall talent level more than the 2023 Nebraska defense in the last 20 seasons. Like if you take a group and you say, what's that ceiling look like?
Yeah.
And how close are they getting to that ceiling?
And the fact they're doing it with a first-year team, with a lot of new faces, with a lot of young guys, Princewell, Cameron Lenhart,
lot of new. I mean,
those are new faces, and then like
MJ Sherman. You get. I mean, it's a lot of young guys, a lot of new guys. I mean, Dr. James Williams came in. He didn't quite rock the baby, but he came in there. He did. He came in there, and he was looking to rock a baby or two. But I mean, I know that feels like hyperbole, but like I just look at this team and the roster and how they're playing, and I'm like, man, could they be playing better?
No, they could not. That's a great point. Like they are at their what I think is their roughly ceiling, which is so impressive.
Yes,
like when you can play to what you're capable of, that's the ultimate sign of respect to me that I'm going to give you. Is like you are maximizing yourself.
Yes,
that's all you can ask for as a fan,
right?
As a coach, I mean that you got to love that. And
it's not the thing we keep on talked about. It's not just one. It's not like they have a starting 11 and they never sub anybody. And boy, when that 11's in there, they're really good. It continues to be just this revolving door of.
That's like I think it's maybe more these. I mean, the secondary was a pleasant surprise to start the season. It's like, oh, these guys are better than I thought they were. But then it's the defensive line over the last, maybe since Michigan, especially, like they were playing well, setback, and then they're all elevating right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jamari Butler is playing. He's looks like a real player.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wasn't playing the start of the year. But then you got Linhart. You got Princewell's two good freshmen.
Yes.
Those are good. Those are really good freshmen.
Yes.
Like they're coming in and, pushing for starting roles against Jamari and Gunnarsson. And then Ty, obviously, is Ty. He's the most talented guy. But then Huntmaster's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, but he's blowing up the middle of that offensive line every play.
So I think
blowing it up.
Between Huntmaster, Jabari, Princewell, and Linhart, those four guys they're playing at a level I didn't think they were capable of.
Yeah.
And they're doing it like they've really progressed fast. So that I think all ties in with the talent that we do have, the established talent, the Ties, the Lukes, the Henriches, the Newsomes, and the Herzogs, like those guys. And they obviously Gifford,
and then Omar Brown's playing great. Michael
good.
Severe texted me. He thought we had he thinks Omar Brown should have been in the club.
Omar Brown, he's played great ball. I'll tell you what, he's got a good argument. I just think Gifford's been better. I think Gifford's been our best guy.
What we talked about is the reason we went away from they're a victim of they have so many good players that if you lose one of them, it's like, okay, so you lose one of them, you still have Hartzog and Newsom and Gifford.
The hard part is like between Brown, Newsom, and Hartzog. I mean, I think they all have an argument. Singleton was playing well before he left, so you had five. You had like five guys who were really playing well. Nick, that's how you shut teams out. That's how you keep teams under 100 yards rushing a game.
Right.
Is we're just playing great team defense. So you say, I say, I don't know if this is real. You say you believe it. Maybe I need to just start believing it.
I don't know.
It's like it's not obvious that we have a superstar. Right. I don't know. There's one superstar in that defense, but you go top to bottom. It's like not a ton of real weak links, though.
No. And the thing that it feels like when you watch them, it feels like they have like 12 or 13 guys on the field, doesn't it? It just everywhere there's just like anywhere they go, swing it, misdirection, counter. Like there's seemingly like 6 hats on the ball like that.
It's team defense. They are the epitome of team defense. They're not relying on one guy to win the game for them. Like, oh, this, Aiden Hutchinson will clean it all up. Like, it's not really that.
Or Levante David will will come in there and make a play. Bear Ruud, they'll just go clean it up. Like, it's fine. No, all of them are rallying.
Everybody's doing their job, and we are stoning these teams. Yeah, they're not that great, but they go to, Northwestern went to Maryland
and scored like 33 points on them and beat them.
So that to me tells me like, well, we're doing something more right than them.
I would love to, in a moment of honesty, like if we could, off the record, like Bielema came in here, Ryan Walters came in here, the Northwestern interim coach came in here, PJ Fleck came in here and be like, hey, real quick, how good is Nebraska? How good is that defense? Buying them?
Compared to some of these defenses you've gone against the last few years?
Like
where do they stack up?
Well, and I'd love to hear them actually what they would say.
Yeah,
because they're stoning these dudes.
And right now, I think it wasn't until this last game where we did it again. I'm going to put them over that 21 defense, which,
Yeah.
Stilly and Snacks, Nelson,
Cam Taylor-Britt,
JoJo, and then you had the two guys in the secondary, Dismuke and
Deontay Williams.
Deontay.
That's a good defense. That defense was balling out. I think this group is officially, as much as it pains me, because it's like my New Kids on the Block poster. If I was a teenage girl, like I have to take down that poster and put up like In Sync.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm taking down 21.
The 3-9 21 team. Jeez, that sounds really terrible, doesn't it?
If you open my locker and open it in there.
Wait, what's the worst band that you could put in your wall? Like you didn't have New Kids. You had like 98 degrees.
Hanson.
You had 98 degrees in Hanson. It's like, Nick, your music choice.
I think it's time for me to take down Hanson in 98 degrees.
Hanson and put up New Kids on the Block.
Oh, that one hurts a little bit.
I mean, that team was 3-9. Let's keep it. We need to check ourselves. I think why we keep using them, we're trying to compare them to something recent.
Yeah,
at Nebraska that we are trying to understand. And
remember, I made the tunnel walk. Remember?
Yeah.
About the 20, they clipped out something from this pod of me saying you have to go back to 2009, 2010, 09, 010 since a defensive play. Like, I mean, clearly that's why. So if are you shocked to hear that I have a poster on my wall? I made
but you know what? They did do it against Oklahoma, Michigan State,
Ohio State,
and Oklahoma,
and Michigan. And
yeah.
So like,
there's
I will say, like, okay, take Tony White's crew and put them against Oklahoma at Oklahoma, Michigan State at Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan at Wisconsin. Like,
I think the test is going to be that Maryland game, just because
they can kind of
Tua's little brother. Yeah. I think Tua's little brother.
And at Wisconsin, I'm nervous. For some reason, that game feels like we're all of a sudden, you've been hot at the blackjack table and you split and doubled one too many times, and you're like, fuck,
we did it again. Yeah.
Real quick with this defense, Gary Sharp had a tweet at halftime of the Purdue game. So there's a lot here. At halftime of the Purdue game, the last time Nebraska had allowed a touchdown was with 1:31 left in the second quarter at Illinois. So from that point, Nebraska had faced their defense had faced 26 drives and none had finished in a touchdown. Wow. So to build off of that, Nebraska faced 6 more drives from Purdue in the second half before they gave up a touchdown off of that Harburg fumble where it was at the doorstep. So to land it all, Nebraska defense, Tony White's crew, put the poster on your wall. Nebraska's defense had a stretch from the second quarter at Illinois, second half Illinois, through the Northwestern game, all the way to the fourth quarter of the Purdue game, where that Blackshirt defense faced 32 drives and none ended in a touchdown.
Wow.
Tony White, come on, man.
Doing your job. I mean, that...
Come on, man.
It's impressive, man. It's impressive, and I'm glad we talked about them first here because they deserve their due.
They do.
Let's be excited about something. We have something to be excited about, which we hadn't for a long time. Is we've got a defense that is making this team a winner.
Yeah,
we are 5-3, Nick.
Yeah, because of the defense.
We're 5-3. Like.
It's unbelievable.
A lot of people didn't think we were going to win 5 games this year. We're at 5 going to bowl game city coming up.
I mean, Nebraska could be bowl eligible in 6 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Okay. Coming up next, we're going to get to where Harburg and Satterfield and everybody decided to channel their inner Billy Madison
and get cool
and pee the pants.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I got to tell you about Onyx Automotive. They're the best of Omaha, #1 luxury car dealer. They have been a good partner here where they have hopped on board and they are sponsoring the game recap pod. Again, like Schick always says, support those that support us and the program, and you should do the same. They offer industry-leading brands, BMW, Jaguar, Land Rover. They have an awesome location at 150th and Dodge. You drive by it, you're like, man, this is just perfect. And if you're really looking for that luxury experience, you need to go to Onyx Automotive. You check them out online, onyxautomotive.com. They got tons of good information, new, pre-used, different things you can look at. I mean, again, I need that white range. We need to get like once I'm opening a business and your baby kind of gets like, everything calms down. You're in a cave and grinding. We need to get out. And how about We test drive white Range Rover. We go to the Drover. We take the Range Rover to the Drover.
Yes. Steaks and wine.
You down with that?
Yes.
Okay.
We might have to
like
record the pod from the Drover.
From the Drover. So a Range Rover to the Drover. Onyx Automotive, if you're listening, can you organize that? And we'll listen to Hall & Oates on the way to. Okay.
God,
now we're getting crazy.
Oh,
but
now we're living.
Now we're living. Now we're living life. That's
all
what happens.
Onyx Automotive.
That's all because of them. They make it all of a sudden because life comes at you. We'll take a white Range Rover to the Drover. Hey, drive Onyx, the new standard. And brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Literally just a couple of days removed from the whole Pella crew being out here. New bay window, new front door. Looks so good. I'm not like just saying that every time I pull into my driveway.
It looks great.
Does it not look great?
I told your wife the house looks great.
It looks great. Every time I pull in the driveway, I'm like, man, that looks good.
The house is updated. It's a 70s house.
Yes.
It looks modern now because the windows and the door are all brand
What'd you say? Windows make the house?
Windows make
the house. And Pella Windows makes the best windows. Take it from me, someone who literally worked with them from the showroom in Omaha all the way through to the finish line. The in-home consultation, everything was fantastic. You can give them your business with confidence. They are awesome people. Check them out online, PellaOmaha.com. That's PellaOmaha.com. All right, my friend, it is Billy Madison time. I don't need to be like that. I just want to get your thoughts here real quick. I want to get your thoughts on kind of the decision-making and play calling towards the end of the game.
That's where I would love to, if we could discuss
Let's go through this here, because we talked about how up 24-0 with about under 11 minutes left in the game. There's about 10 and a half minutes to go. I told you, Nebraska had a 99.9% chance of winning, according to ESPN's probability. They come out, they run, and they have a pass. I think it was either an option pass or a play action pass. It was an option pass. Harburg, because he has his eyes down the field, is kind of scrambling, and old boy from Purdue lit his ass up.
Yeah.
Very next play, Heinrich Harburg, they run him after getting lit up, and he fumbles.
Yep.
Purdue then scores a touchdown on that drive. They miss a 2-point conversion. But for me, I'm like, okay, you're up 24-0. It's cold. The defense is playing out of their minds. Let's just run the ball. Run your running back 3 times, and at worst, 2.5, 3 minutes off the clock. Is that where your head was at?
Nick, we could have taken a knee.
Yes.
We shouldn't have taken a knee. But the point that I think I was frustrated with is we played the game that we've been trying to play somewhat, besides a couple of the fumbles in the first half. But we were riding high. You're riding high up 24 with this team.
Yes.
Not with, you name the other team in the country with this quarterback, that receiver, this. They can do whatever the heck they want to. We know what we have with this team right now. And to me, if you're doing anything besides turning around and handing the ball off, I think out of under center, take the snap, hand it off, get 3 yards, either punt or you get a first down. I don't care.
And you chew
the clock.
That clock dwindles all the way down. You snap it with 2 seconds.
But you can't call the two plays they call option pass.
What are you doing?
Play. We don't need points. We need to run the clock out.
Yes.
This isn't now. If it's a 7-point game, we're up 7.
Right.
Nick, the playbook can stay the same. Those are okay. You can't run option pass and you can't run option because we've got to talk about Harburg's not good at it.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to work the pitch. He doesn't know how to attack the guy that's the pitch man and make him make the decision.
Right.
The pitch guy's letting him make the decision and he doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And then he doesn't know how to cut. His ball handling's not great. He's shown he fumbled twice on options.
Yes.
So that's on Satterfield.
I agree.
The start of this deal was on Satterfield. After that, it was on
players
sort of getting tight.
Yes. But you're right. We sung his praises. I said he had that 15-play drive. Homeboy was in his bag on that one. Like he was doing his thing on that. This was terrible. And I know Rule tried to defend it like, man, we're trying to, we're playing the game, I mean, it's like, playing the game.
No.
You play to win the game.
Yeah. And so playing to win the game is knowing your team and being like, this team, we go conservative. We've got such a lead that you can't lose by just running the clock out. By taking a knee, you can't lose.
Right.
I think if you looked at like how long does it take for them to do a drive? Knee. Like we could just take knees and we're running off, you know, 2 minutes, 2 minutes per session.
Yeah.
2 minutes of drive. Like it just mathematically we win.
Yes. And then to your point too, it's like option, first of all, Heine's not great at it. Heine's been fumble prone, and option is a risky play. You know, there's a pitch, there's ball handling. Like there's
more ball handling. There's more of a chance for
that it goes wrong.
Yeah, that's the good and bad of the option.
Right.
The good is it gives you a 1-up advantage. The bad part is like you're putting the ball in the air.
Yes. So that was the first sequence, and Purdue makes Nebraska pay. They score. They go for a 2-point conversion. They don't get it, so it's now 24-6. Because Harburg got lit up. Now, I didn't know this. They said after the game, they couldn't stop Harburg's mouth from bleeding. Oh. So that's why I thought it was like, dude, you fumbled too many times and you're up.
I thought that.
So I don't know, whatever it is. But Sims now comes in the game. And again, did you see on the third down, the shotgun snap again almost hit the motion guy.
Okay, so this is that. I'm so glad you were on the exact same. So like, okay, one, the fact that they ran it with the motion guy.
Yeah.
It's either Satterfield doesn't get something or Sims is truly not commanding the offense where he's always running the motion guy too close. I know the guy's supposed to be like roughly in the vicinity, right?
Yeah, because he's coming. Is he trying to? He's like
he's supposed to like the ball's supposed to cross him, and then he's crossing. You know, and I think it messes with the coverage by the fact that it's snapped on this side and he ends on that side of the snap, right?
Get it. So it's not like you can let him clear and then he holds and then you snap.
It's supposed to be
I get that.
A lot of teams do this. The issue is with Sims, and you watched it in those other games. His guy almost always hits the ball.
Yes.
His guys are always, let's call it 2 feet closer. And I don't know if that is on Sims completely.
Right.
But I get the sense it happens when Sims is
It only happens when Sims is out there.
But then Satterfield keeps calling it when Sims is
in. Again,
like you're giving, like, don't give your guys a chance to make a mistake.
Right.
And I think this is where Satterfield needs to just go, when we're tied down or it's close, your playbook can stay open. When we're up 24 or 20 points with not like this team needs to be boring.
Yes.
Boring.
And what's funny is that's what they said they wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like they've said, like you said it a little bit ago, the game had gone exactly how they wanted it to go. And all they had to do was like do what they said they wanted to do in the fourth quarter and salt the game away and run it and all those things. But it's like Minnesota, they came out, threw it 3 times when they could have ran it, right? Like this. And again, like, I'm just saying, like, never look past something in victory that you wouldn't in defeat. We criticized it because they lost Minnesota. I'm going to criticize it even though they won.
More upset at this one.
Was I was in this, but this was, honestly, it was this sequence from Satterfield that had me left a bad taste in my mouth as that game ended.
So Sims against Minnesota was just like human error. This guy just, I don't know what was going on with him, right? And then the plays, when we were fumbling the other game, like but Satterfield, to me, I was upset at Satterfield for putting them in the position. Like, you didn't have to be in that position.
No.
If you take it under center and you run ISOs or whatever, just like there is less chance for error. I just want to mush, and I want the guys in the pile holding on. Like,
right.
It's just about running the clock out. And I think that's where I'm like,
why don't you do that?
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, why do we need to have the shotgun snap with the guy almost hitting the ball when we're up 24? Like, that doesn't matter as much then, because the great play call and the great schematics of it don't matter when you're up 24, because it's not about busting the big one. It's about running the clock out.
Yes, and
protecting the ball too.
And that's what's frustrating is what we wanted was what they did on the final possession where Emmett Johnson popped one.
Exactly. And then they ended up popping it. But just by the nature of just being tough, they popped it, but they took their risk down. the risk. I want the risk to go down when you're up 24.
Right. So it was
turn down the risk because you saw what happens when they kept the risk high.
You almost got burned. You almost got burned.
You almost blew it up with a 24-point lead with 10 minutes to go.
And then to build on top of all that. So on third down, you have the shotgun snap that almost hits the motion guy. Sims turned the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's another
thing where it's like,
Nick, I don't know what is up with him, but he seems to me like his first couple games he was in La La Land. He's gotten 2 series since he's been back. He's turned the wrong way twice.
Yes.
And then
so he turns the wrong way. So then here comes 4th and 1. I get it. Might as well see if you can draw him off sides. Whatever. Take a delay game. Like, cool. Got it. Then it's 4th and 6 because you get the 5-yard penalty delay game. Purdue then jumps off sides.
Where it hurts, we didn't take the time out there.
Yes. Agree.
That's just, I mean, you can't predict them to jump off sides, but.
Right. But yeah, so they screwed up. You couldn't make them pay for that.
And Teddy, did you see Teddy?
No. What do you do?
We tried to draw him off sides.
Oh, yeah,
we jumped up. They drawed off sides.
Right.
And Teddy he might have his eyes closed. Sometimes linemen do that where they literally they close their eyes.
I didn't know that.
So
you bring in facts.
The guy jumped.
Because if you would have touched him, then it's offside.
We get the penalty.
Yeah.
So you needed someone to touch him.
Right.
And that's an error on Teddy for not knowing that. Like, look, the guy jumped, touch him, and you get the 5 yard.
Right. So 4th and 1, tried to draw off sides. Teddy could have got him, didn't do it. Here comes 4th and 6. Now Purdue jumps off sides. So here comes now back to 4th and 1. Again, it is 4th and 1. The score is 24-6. There is 6 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game. Just punt the ball. Just punt it.
I think once again, like we're trying to prove something. I do think this is about proving something. That call to go for it there are coaches that are like, we want to prove that we aren't scared. I think they are scared, and they should be scared right now.
Yeah, it's just go for. I mean,
Nick,
your defense is stoning these guys.
The only thing you can't do. The only thing you can't do is fumble the ball and let them score. It's the only thing you can't do.
Yeah. And guess what happens? Sims fumbles. They pick it up. They return it for a touchdown.
And that's what I mean. That's the thing is like, I know it's a small thing, but like they win shotgun instead of going under center.
Yep.
And I don't know. And Jeff Sims had been in all of 3 plays.
And
I mean, it's just like,
what are you doing? What are you doing? You're up 24-6 with 6.5 minutes left. You had just
your defense hasn't given
rolling.
up a yard all
Punt
day.
The ball away.
You can't lose.
You cannot lose. This was the only scenario where all of a sudden you went, uh-oh.
And that's disappointing because I think
and that one's on Rule, I think.
That one's on Rule. I think it's on Satterfield
for the call.
It's on Sims for being in La La Land. And that one's on
Rule. And the decision to go for it. And he said it after the game. He's like, I was really 50-50 on it. Wasn't sure. I just don't like.
That's a state. He wanted to make a statement,
and it's
because he's trying to instill confidence. And I just think winning will build the confidence more than him making gutsy calls when we're up 20 points. Like it doesn't. I just don't think that's how you. I think winning. So like we still won, but now you've left doubt in their minds by letting them make a bad play when you could have just been like, we'll take a win.
So I wanted to talk about that, and we're on the same page with it. I just thought that sequence from Satterfield, from Sims, and then from Rule was just atrocious.
It was as bad of like 2 series as I've ever seen in a situation where you're like, we've got a game won, and all we have to do is have a pulse.
Yes.
And play the game and do nothing.
I mean,
you don't have to do anything. You could, like you said, you could have taken we were terrible.
It made me think of even like the 28-3 Falcons Super Bowl against the Patriots, where it's like you're up 28-3. Literally, all you have to do is hand it off to your running back, and the Falcons probably win. But instead, you drop back, you throw it a little bit, and all of a sudden, you're playing with fire, and they almost got burned.
Yeah. Again,
lucky that there was a blocked field goal for a touchdown, and lucky that Alvano makes a 40-yard or 55-yard field goal.
Lucky we recovered the fumble on that punt.
Yes. So because now Purdue returns it for a touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. It's 24-14, and now you got to recover an onside kick.
Yeah.
And thank God they did. And then they finally did what they should have done, and Emmett Johnson pops one.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Here's what's too bad. We just won 3 games in a row.
Right. And listen to us.
And they left us with a bad taste in their mouth because, like I said, it's just a few decisions that I just feel like there's people sitting in the stands that don't know anything about football. You got me and you sitting here who know not near as much about football as Matt Rule and Marcus Satterfield. But like, it's more obvious to us. It's like, we don't need all that.
Yes.
Just win the game. We already got, the team and the fans got everything that they needed.
You'd won the game.
You had won. The game was won. And what you did was like, we want to make statements and put more risk on the table. Right. Versus like, the statement is made, no more risk.
It's
done. They put the risk and they wanted more. I think it's being greedy personally.
Yes.
That's what it felt like. And there's a time for being greedy in life. I think most people in the state are a little sick to their stomach after a win because we got a little greedy.
Yes.
And we've seen what that does to us.
I just could not believe when it got to 24-14, I was just in utter disbelief. I mean, because even did you see Rule after Alvano makes the 55-yard field goal? Rule's on the field, he's like, it was all like at that point. I'm like, man, this is as good of a Saturday feeling wise as they won 3 in a row. Yeah. It's 24-0. This team might shut out Purdue. Like, oh man, and they somehow just in the final 10 minutes almost completely blew it.
They almost, and here's the thing. It's like, we still got the 3 games, 3 in a row. The team will, in the end, they'll feel pretty good. They've won 3 in a row.
Oh, for sure.
So their confidence is riding high. But what he did, which is a little disappointing, was like, they sort of, the fans, I can just feel it. Like even me and you talking, we're still a little like, we're not there yet.
Because even in the journey of getting to 24-0, we saw those moments. So I talked about those sequences: the Snodgrass fumbling the kickoff, the muff punt, Harburg fumbling at the 13-yard line. We saw there were moments where you were like, oh, and then they hung on. And so, despite of all that, they get to 24-0. Everybody's feeling great, and yet you have those play calls like that, and you just leave that door open.
Yeah. And
it was like, good Lord, just hand the ball, get under center, hand the ball to your running back 3 times, and go home, and you're a winner.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. And they can come in here and they can puff their chest out all they want. We don't play. We play with no fear, and we're playing the game, whatever. Like part of playing the game is playing to win the game and playing the score.
Yeah. I just think that we have had such a traumatically bad handful of years that like every win is so precious to me right now that I just am like, I just don't like when anybody messes with it.
Well, to contrast this, I'm trying to remember some of these games run together now. I don't think you and I turn on the mics and criticize the coaching for all the turnovers in the second half of the Illinois game. We criticize the players because they were running the ball.
Yeah.
They were just running the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but they were, so that was, they were trying to salt the game away with that one. If my memory serves me correctly.
Yes.
They threw a couple that Heine threw one in the second half, but whatever. Like, I guess what I'm saying is they've been in this situation before, and like, we'll delve out criticism pie as we see fit. But this one to me was just like, I didn't understand it at all.
Yep.
Where are we at on Harburg's fumbled 9 times this year? That's second most in the country. He has fumbled the second most times out of anybody in the country. Like,
yep. I had a moment until Sims had his return moments where Harburg's starting to fumble so much. I mean, his last 2 games have been not so good.
Yes.
That like I was like,
maybe, yeah.
Remember how we were looking down at Sims? I mean, it was Sims is doing himself no favors though. So he's becoming a guy that like it's getting hard to think about playing him.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard based on how he played in the first 2 games and then what has happened in the little spurts that he's coming after that. It's hard to be confident with him out there right now.
I mean, he really turns the ball over.
Yes. And it's sloppy and he turns the wrong way and the shotgun snap almost hits motion guys and he throws interceptions and he fumbles. It's just like, okay,
but his timing of it all is what. I mean, Heine fumbles, but like Sims really has like a sense of the worst moment. Like every one of his picks and fumbles were like crucial. Since.
But I just Harburg. It's hard. He's
he's been winning though.
He's been winning. He's whatever he is, 5 and whatever as a starter.
He's 5-1.
5-1 as a starter. He is being productive running the ball, although it's the weird running to watch. He's producing.
See a couple deep throws now.
Like he hit when Malachi Coleman was open, he hit him. When Jaden Doss was open, he hit him. Like he made a couple of good third down throws on that 15-play 87-yard drive. So it's not all bad, but like this team leads the country in fumbles. Like, and what's funny is, remember how many times they fumbled in the spring game? I think they fumbled 8 times in the spring game.
Yeah.
Like, this team has been that. And they got to, like, just at some point, I'm just worried that at some point, all of the things we talk about every game, I just worry that at some point it's going to catch up to them. There's going to be maybe the defense is due for a
letdown. We lose. I mean, I don't know how else to explain.
Basically, it's like the defense can't be like fucking almost perfect.
Yeah. We scored 31. We scored 31, and we kicked a field goal with the blocked the extra point touchdown. So they probably scored 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, Emmett Johnson popped the late one.
Yeah.
Canton, Ohio had the one, and then you had Doss on the option pass.
Yeah, so I mean, but you know what? If our defense has a letdown, I mean, we still aren't like scoring more than 20 points a game, probably.
So
I mean, it's. I want to be more positive, but like I think I think we were very positive about the defense. Well, we are. I mean,
how could you not be? But and we are very positive about the fact that like at the end of the day, this team is finding a way to win. Now, however you want to say why that's happening or it's happening in spite of, the bottom line is the sun is coming up the day on Sundays and Nebraska won on Saturday. So that is all great. We have done so many of these pods where you and I are looking at each other and we go, how on earth did Nebraska lose that game? It's nice to at least do pods where
how on earth did we win?
Honestly, you go, I don't know how they won that game, but they won that game.
Yeah, I mean, we won. The score, like you look at say 31-14, and then we say, how did we win? It's like, yeah, it's kind of odd to say that, but like it felt that way.
It did. Almost every win has felt like, whew, that was a weird way to arrive at a 31-14 win.
Yeah.
And
maybe we're due.
I think this defense has a little something going, man. They are flying around. Their confidence, their belief, they are hitting. They're physical. They're knocking heads off.
They make you earn it. I mean, they don't give up much easy, do they?
No, it's like I said, it feels like if all of a sudden some scandal came out where like Tony White's like at the snap, like has like Sanford standing next to him and he like slides him onto the field and like Nebraska somehow has 12 men on the field every play. Like it feels like they have 1 or 2 extra guys on the field every play.
They're just there. Like I said, they're really doing it. And I mean, it's going to be, and now you got Michigan State who's had
reeling dog. I mean,
they
2-5 and reeling.
I think they're 0-5 in the Big Ten.
Yes.
So that's where like, Nick, it's all teed up for us. That's the part that's like, we're kind of like, we're kind of, this isn't the most pleasant 3 wins in a row pod that I thought we were going to have.
No,
but we've got Michigan State who's 0-5 in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Maryland who just got beat by Northwestern.
Yep.
That means if we do our jobs, we're going to be at 7 wins.
7 wins with 2 more games to go. And one of which is at home against an offense that is, I mean, truly horrifically bad in Iowa.
Yeah.
Where Nebraska is not going to let those, if it's going to take a special teams touchdown from Iowa or a defensive touchdown for them to score 10 points against Nebraska. So like it is it is realistic that Indianapolis against Michigan, Nebraska is facing off against them again for the Big Ten.
Okay, where's right now? What's Iowa and Wisconsin's records?
So they are. I want to make sure. I think everybody's 3-2 in the Big Ten, aren't they? Let me pull it up just to make sure I get it right.
We are 3-2 in the Big Ten. Yeah,
I think there's a logjam at the top in the West of Minnesota's 3-2, Iowa's 3-2, Wisconsin's 3-2, and Nebraska's 3-2.
Wow.
Minnesota still has to play Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, good.
And they have to play. So there's a L, right?
Yeah.
Iowa. They play. They're at Northwestern. They host Rutgers. They host Illinois. Then they're at Nebraska. That's pretty manageable, right?
Yeah, that's manageable.
Wisconsin lost to Ohio State yesterday, but they are at Indiana. Then they play Northwestern. Then Nebraska. Then at Minnesota. Very manageable.
Okay, so they're still going to be. They're going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one to beat those two, and for them to not have like another loss somewhere in there.
Yes,
but you never know. Like, we'll see what happens if those two teams both lose and give us a 1-game cushion. Holy moly! I can't believe it.
Right? I mean, crazy.
Yeah,
crazy stuff. That was a very weird recap pod we just did there. It was good. I really enjoyed that.
But it's that last 10 minutes of the game that's like, it's like we won 3 in a row, and then we had a meltdown. The baby had a meltdown, but he did something really funny right before bedtime.
Yeah, and it made it okay.
The day was good.
Well, it was, if like, let's say at 24-0, if you and I had to turn off the game and record a recap pod, it would have been a very different recap pod.
Yes.
Even in spite of all of those things that happened early with the fumbles and all those kinds of things, but that last 10 minutes just made you go, man. What?
Because that would have shown progress to me.
Yes. They were going to win 24-0. That game should have ended 24-0.
Yeah. And then I feel like, I don't know. We'll see how they bounce back from a bad finish like that, but being 3-0. So we'll see. I think they've been getting better as the year's gone on. So we'll see. I think this Michigan State game is very winnable. They got to go on the road.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard.
They haven't won the road yet. So, no, they did. They won.
They won at Illinois.
Sorry.
Yeah. But no, you're still on the road. I'm by no means just like, this isn't like, Nebraska against anybody. I can't like.
There's no guarantee
anything. It's
just our defense shows up. We're in
but
it.
Man, that defense is balling out. Anything we're missing? I wrote a couple of things I wrote down. I wanted to talk about Tommy Hill's performance, which was fantastic. I had a lot of people saying Newsom belongs in the club. We talked about Omar Brown. I don't know. Makes you have to. I don't know if we have to update. Right, it's hard to get in the club, man.
Offense, man. Oh boy,
we felt like we had to force someone in the club.
Put HOF in there.
We put the Hall of Famer in there, but he scored a touchdown. But
so he might stay in. But
who knows, man?
He didn't really have any other impact in that game.
Not really.
That's the problem.
Not really. It's kind of a weird offense right now where you don't know who really is valuable.
Yeah,
they're all like equally indispensable and dispensable.
I like that they're playing these young guys and they're getting
Jalen Lloyd and all those guys. Like,
Doss.
That's fantastic. Okay, wrapping it up. Hour and 7 minutes. That was good. We might next week be doing a recap pod where Nebraska's going to a bowl game.
Game, 4 wins in a row.
Right.
I'm happy we're talking about. We can say that.
We should get if they go to. There's been projections to the Las Vegas Bowl or going to a bowl in Phoenix. Should we get a sponsor to take me and you to one of those bowls and we'll do it?
I think they would. It'd be worth it to get us down.
Just get us down there.
To do a live pod.
We will do. Get Bo and I. We'll share a hotel room. That's fine. We will turn the AC way down, and
we just want 2 steak dinners. A flight and a hotel. We'll call it good.
Then we're good. That's all we're asking for. But if we have to, we'll go down and
we will.
We'll do what we got to do.
A little bowl recap.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Pinstripe Bowl in New York. Would we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to New York too. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to Del Frisco.
We got a Del Frisco's game, right? But all right. Okay. Nebraska 3 in a row. Up that baby.
Up.
Baby.
Not again.
God, baby, no.
Get over here.
A Herd at Sports Sports Network production.